Hello gamers, it's Tom Sidener, the Lonely Gamer. Today is December the 1st, 2016, and it's time for the news. So today in the news I'm going to talk about some announcements that have been made from some game companies. So the first one is the maker ILO, the maker of King of Tokyo and King of New York, have announced that they're going to bring out monster packs. The first monster pack is going to be Cthulhu, and that's going to come with a stand-up monster card, the plastic base that it goes on, and some upgrade cards for that monster, and some tokens, whatever tokens the monster requires. And this is a really good thing, because one of the things that my friends like to do when we play King of Tokyo is to try different monsters, and they like having a lot of monsters to choose from. And also, we have a pretty big game group sometimes, and King of Tokyo is one of those games we can play with a lot of players, as long as you have enough monster for each person. So the more monsters, the better. So be looking for in the future just monster packs where you can just add monsters to your King of Tokyo and King of New York. The next thing is the new Smash Up expansion by AEG. They are introducing the next one, and it's just as crazy as the previous ones. We've got grannies, which might be really good. We have explorers, like people like Tomb Raider Lady and stuff like that, Lara Croft. And then we also have rock stars. I'm hoping for some 80s hair bands. I love hair bands. I have no hair, but I love hair bands, so go figure. And last but not least, teddy bears. So, rock stars, teddy bears, explorers, and grannies in the new Smash Up. It's going to bring the total number of Smash Up factions, if you will, up to 50. So that's a lot of different factions. So, look forward to that if you're a big Smash Up player. A company called Space Goat is going to produce the game Terminator. They received the license for that. They also are the same company that I think did the Evil Dead 2, I think it is. Either Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2, one of the Evil Deads. They received the license to do Terminator. It's going to be a one versus many game. The one is going to play the Terminators, the computers that have become, self-aware, and they're going to be taking on the humans, and everybody else is going to play humans. The interesting thing about the game is it plays in 2 time zones. So it plays in 1984, which is actually the year I graduated from high school, which is kind of funny. And it also plays in 2029, which is probably the year I die. So the things that you do in 1984 can affect the things that happen in 2029. So you do things here and it has a ripple effect. So that sounds kind of cool. So keep an eye out for that game. That is Terminator, the board game, put out by Space Goat. Last but not least, AEG has also announced an expansion to its pretty popular games, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Not to be confused with the movie of the same title. It's just Planes game, Trains game, and Automobiles game. They couldn't call it Trains, Planes, and Automobiles, which I'm sure they probably wish they could have, but they ended up calling it Destination Fun. I think they should have called it You're Going the Wrong Way. How do they know which way we're going? But anyway, nevertheless, it's going to be an expansion that has all 3 games in it. That's kind of bad for people who only have one. I only have one of the games, so in order to buy this, I'd have to buy expansions for 2 games that I don't actually own. But if you have all 3 games, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles by AEG, then this might be an expansion that is, something that you'd like to pick up. Okay, so the next thing, let's talk about a couple sales that are going on. We're still kind of in the Black Friday arena, and there's a couple good sales that I saw. Both of these I found on Cool Stuff Inc. The first one is Seafall. If you're on the fence on Seafall, which a lot of people are, or you just like to try it, or it's something that you were pretty excited about but you never picked it up, they now have it for $39.99. That's a little bit less than 40 bucks. I bought the game when it was 50 something, and I haven't had a chance to play it yet. It's really a big commitment. I'm trying to get a group of people who will commit to playing it 15 times because I'd really like to see how it evolves. But so far, I haven't been able to muster up that kind of commitment from any of my friends, but eventually I'm going to play the game. And if it's something that you're interested in, now's the time maybe to pick it up at $39.99. Another game that's on sale that I'm kind of excited about that I would like to get is Imhotep. Originally, Cool Stuff had Imhotep on their website for $19.99, but when you clicked on it, it was $21.99. And that's the actual price, $21.99. So you can get it now for $21.99. It's supposed to be a really good game. I have not played it, but I've heard a lot of great things about it, and it's one that I would like to pick up or maybe put on my Christmas list. But the actual price is $21.99 at Cool Stuff, so if that's something that you're interested in, go get you a copy before the copies run out. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is Kickstarter news. And this week is kind of a special week for Kickstarter news because we are going to look at games that have already been Kickstarted. So this is kind of a revisit week. And the first one we're going to look at is Kingdom Death Monster. Kingdom Death Monster was a behemoth of a Kickstarter. It raised lots of money. They brought out the game. The game looks interesting to me. It looks like a pretty complicated game. It's really a, survivors fight monsters game. It's not like a it's not really like a dungeon crawl because the survivors are kind of they kind of remind me of like cavemen, like initial indigent people to an area who have really simple weapons like sharp rocks and sticks and stuff like that, and they're fighting monsters. The examples that I've seen, they're fighting monsters like lions and stuff like that. So it's kind of an odd thing, and I think there's some pretty weird monsters in there. It looks like each monster has its own deck of cards that's also its life, but also its tactics that it uses. So different monsters have different tactics when you fight them. The damage thing when you get hurt seems really interesting because you roll a dice and you might get hurt in the head, or you might get hurt in the arm or the leg or the waist or something like that. And you can also take brain damage, which leads to madness. So it's a pretty in-depth game. It looks like a pretty cool game. The only thing is they've kickstarted Kingdom Death Monster 1.5. It is actually just an expansion to Kingdom Death Monster, but they've also included within this Kickstarter the ability to get a reprint of the actual full game. Now it looks amazing, it looks fantastic, and I've heard a lot of good things about it. The only problem is the lowest entry point where you get the base game, and that is just the base game, is $200, okay? That's a pretty pricey game. I've spent $200 on games before, but usually that's a base game with a bunch of expansions and a whole bunch of extra figures and stuff like that. But this game, it's $200 for the base game. If you want to get into the 1.5 expansions, I think there's like a treasure chest worth of stuff and everything. I mean, it goes up from there, $250, $285, and on and on. So if that's something you're interested in, you like these big, giant games, and you don't have a ton of games, you just spend a lot of money on one game, then this may be interesting to you. It is already up to $6.2 million that is raised on this 1.5. It has 37 days to go. So, I mean, this thing is just going to be a monster. This company is, I don't know, they've figured out the trick to actually printing their own money, I think. So, but anyway, I heard it's a great game. People love it. So if you're interested in that and you didn't get it the first time and you don't want to pay $1,000 on eBay for Kingdom Death Monster, then go check out this Kickstarter because you can get it from the Kickstarter. The next one is another one that's already been kickstarted, and it's a second edition of a game re-kickstarted. It seems to be a trend that's going along, and that is Vast Crystal Caverns. And Vast Crystal Caverns is a really cool game, and the amazing thing about Vast Crystal Caverns is it hasn't even released at retail yet. It should be coming out. I think in December or January you're going to be able to purchase the first edition at retail. It seems like an amazing game. It's an asynchronous game where you play either a dragon or a goblin or a knight or even the actual cavern itself. You can play as the cavern. You can crush the explorers by falling down on them. I think the knight's trying to kill the dragon. The goblins are trying to steal the dragon's loot, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of differences between each one of the characters, and you play a different character. The original game is really cool. I looked at it at Gen Con, almost bought a copy, but thought I'd wait for retail because I had bought so much stuff. So anyway, I'm actually planning on getting a copy of it. Now I've got to decide whether I want to kickstart it or not. If you kickstart the second edition game, the actual second edition game is $60, which is the retail price of Vast. If you buy it at retail, you're probably not going to pay $60 if you buy the first edition, but the second edition Kickstarter is $60. To get the second edition game plus the differences for the second edition, which are some upgraded cards and some plastic miniatures, that's going to run you $85 to kickstart that. And if you already have the original game and you just want the updated cards and tokens and stuff and the plastic miniatures for the different figures within the game, then that would be $35 to kickstart. So if you already have Vast Crystal Caverns and you want to get the second edition stuff, that's $35 on Kickstarter. And if you want the second edition plus the Kickstarter stuff for the extra stuff, it's $85 pledge. And if you just want Crystal Caverns and you can't find it anyplace, you can do $60 pledge and get that, but I don't know why that would be of interest to you, because within the next couple months you're going to be able to buy it at retail and you're going to be able to get it for a cheaper price than what you would on Kickstarting it. Okay, last thing on the Kickstarter is one last time I'm going to tell you about Mythic Battles. Only because I think this is one of the most amazing games I've ever seen. I kickstarted it. I cannot wait until it comes out. I don't think I've ever been this excited about a game. Greek mythology, all the stretch goals are ridiculous. At the last time I looked, they are up around 30 stretch goals that they've already unlocked. The thing is over $2 million. It's only got a few days to go. In fact, I think it may only have 1 day to go as of this taping. I think probably less than 24 hours to go right now. So if you want that and you didn't know about it, hurry up and go there because it's going to be gone. But the gameplay looks amazing. All of the miniatures look amazing. It started out, one thing I will say about it is it started out with an $99 pledge, and that was all you could pledge, and I was pretty happy about that. So I actually got on the early bird and I got the $89, which is $10 off, but I was pretty happy that it only had one pledge. It was uncomplicated and neat. And then as the campaign went on, they started adding stuff to the Kickstarter, which I didn't care for. I said, okay, we're gonna have the Poseidon expansion, and that's gonna be, you have to add that as a Kickstarter add-on, and then all these different add-ons, bump, as it went, and so the thing got more expensive and more expensive and more expensive. At one point, a buddy of mine sent me an email and said, hey, thanks for telling me about this, because now I'm $400 in. Well, one good thing, if you are $400 in on this campaign, they have added all-in packages, so you can cut your costs. So there are a couple all-in packages. I think there's a $300 all-in package and maybe a $400 all-in package, but they've added a ton of stuff, and all of that stuff, if you get the all-in packages, are included within the all-in packages. You get all the add-ons, all the different stuff, and there's tons and tons of add-ons. Now I will say, and I will admit, that I got the early bird at $89, and that's all I'm investing in this game until I get a chance to play it. I will buy the base game, and even though Poseidon is the one thing that I really wanted, I'm not even buying the Poseidon add-on. I'm going to buy that. I'm going to kickstart the base game. I'm going to check it all out, and then I'll buy the Poseidon add-on at retail if it's an enjoyable game, which I'm sure that it's going to be. So, okay, well, that's it. I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I ate a ton of food at Thanksgiving. I probably gained 10 pounds. Hopefully it doesn't show in this video, but now I need to go to the weight room and work out and get rid of some of that. But all of you, I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Christmas is coming. There's a lot of people on your Christmas list that probably would love board games, so please think about board games when you're buying Christmas presents for people. Keep gaming, have a lot of fun gaming, and until I see you again, happy gaming.